Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Brunxley Town Council Planning Committee meeting of the 11th of March 2025 at 9:30. Can I have apologies for absence, please?
None received.
Thank you very much. Can I confirm you've all had the minutes of the last meeting? And are there any points, objections, inaccuracies you'd like to tell us about? No? Thank you very much indeed. Declaration of disclosable pecuniary interests? No? Okay, thank you very much. Excellent. Moving on then to item 4, which is the application 25/00268. It's a planning application, retrospective planning under section 73A for the installation of a travel pod, which I think we've all seen in the co-op, ex-co-op car park as a travel agency. Well, I've actually seen it. I don't know.
I've seen it. Yeah.
We've all seen it.
Yeah.
I think when you say ex-co-op, I think they still own the site actually. So.
Oh, right, possibly, yeah. Sorry, but and I think, well, it must have been there 2 or 3 months by now?
Yeah.
At least, isn't it?
It's a shame that they didn't check, because I mentioned it to them when they said they were going to put it out in the car park, and I said, check you don't need planning permission. So the girls in the travel went to the manager, who said he'd pass it on. And I came straight, and I must admit, Tracy and I were talking about it, and I said to Tracy, do they need planning permission, or is it the fact they can move it?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is it temporary?
But evidently, no, they don't need planning permission.
I think that's the point. I did check up, not about this situation, but if it was a temporary while building works are going on, you can have it there. But if it's a permanent thing, you then need to. So I think that's what they've done. Turn this into
But
a
then they would be doing it on the process, so it'd be going in the shop after, sort of thing. But
I think that might have been the deal.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is where it is. We all know what it's like.
It's a extremely good unit actually. It's very attractive.
Yeah. So any objections?
I haven't got any objections to it.
Shall we support that?
Yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to application 25/00290. This is an application for the retention of an existing air conditioning unit to the gable end with a new encasement. I know about this because I was called in by a local about it. Tendering inspector went down and had a look round the waterfront and got upset with a couple of things down there. One was this, and one was an advertising placard, which the advertising placard is now gone. And the reason that he's upset's not the right word. Objecting to this is that it backs on, or the next building to the left there is the rack house, and that's listed, and it affects the view, whatever they call it, the scene. And I advised the gentleman that runs the shop, who's running the air conditioning unit, to go and get a planner and see if they could make an application to put an encasement around it, and this is what it's all about. I don't personally have any objections to that. I think the use of the store down there is vital. It's part of the local community now. It's a sort of corner shop of the heart, really.
And nobody's complained up till now.
No, nobody's. It's. You wouldn't notice it unless you look down the. And what they've done is they've put 2 air conditioning units up. They are up quite high, and they put them on basically a steel frame. And what the idea of this is to put a wooden box around that, basically.
I think they can sometimes look horrible when
They
they're dirty.
do. I agree with you.
But if he's encased it, I don't see any problem in that.
It's a necessity for what they have to do.
Yeah.
It does say there the proposed cladding will be in white painted timber boarding to match similar boarding.
Which matches in with the board as well.
Yeah.
Any objections?
No.
No? Okay, that's carried. Thank you very much. The third application, which is 25/00259, the application for advertising consent installation of signage associated with the conversion of the store to Sainsbury's. I think it was as an expectation to have a sign post.
Sooner the better.
I think one of the things that I didn't know and I couldn't find out, but presumably then we'll have two, because we'll have one for we'll have a co-op one for the petrol station. We'll have one for the.
Well, is
I
this?
thought it was more about going on the shop.
Oh, is it going?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's round the shop edge, isn't it?
if it's round the shop edge, yeah.
Application. Yeah, I would have thought it is their
Is there
sign,
any
you know,
pictures
on
of
the
it?
shop. That's what I took it as anyway.
Oh right, I must admit, I did spend a lot of time on it because I thought.
Yeah,
And
so
the
she's-
co-op's always had signage, haven't it,
Yeah.
sideways, that
So yeah, that's all the shop.
Oh well,
On the
that's,
shop.
sorry, I thought as the co-op I didn't have to reapply, but anyway.
Is there no freestanding board?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was freestanding one.
I didn't, I just.
Oh, wait a minute, yes, there it is. Yeah, it is
so
freestanding.
it's replacing that one at the entrance that
Yeah.
says opening times for 5 ways, and
Yeah, you know,
I've got no
Yeah.
problem.
it was fully supported.
Yeah.
Fine. Thank you very much. And then moving on then to item 5, which is an application that we've previously agreed around via email, but we're just going through application CC/TEN/06/25, which is the replacement of existing cladding, including additional structural support for the community store. I think it's just like you say, the cladding. And I think we all supported that. Yeah, just to confirm that. Thank you very much. So then moving on to item 6, which is the Tendring District Local Council Review Plan. All 100 and whatever pages it is. Matt, I know, has read it. I've read it. You were there when they wrote it.
Yeah.
The others, for very, very quickly, essentially it comes up with four plans? Four plans with some options in it, but basically in the first 3, sorry, can I keep going?
Yeah.
I can't remember the titles of the 4 plans, but essentially they are, one of them is the garden villages.
Yeah, I think all of them have the incorporation of several garden villages. One of them got 2, another one's got 3, another one's got 4. And the first 3 options say Brighton Sea would be taking 100 to 300, so 300 houses. The 4th option is saying 30 to 100, so 100. What was interesting is one of the options, I think it's option C off the top of my head, that gives Brighton Sea 300 is the plan that's titled Focusing on the A120 and towns and villages with railway stations. Now, we're 7 miles away from the A120 and we're half an hour's bus journey away from the closest train station. So I can't see how they've even considered putting 300 houses, the maximum amount to Brighton Sea, on that particular option. It's as if they're using a map from the 1960s.
I have to say that it didn't. I came to a very similar conclusion. The options are option A is a railway focus, where you get high densities along the railway, which I understand gets this long line from Colchester out to Frinton and Clapton. But we seem to get included in that. We don't have a railway. And the other high density, well, the main high density area is Harwich and Dovecourt, with Manningtree as well. So there's this line running out of Colchester that seems to run down to Clapton and Frinton, which captures us for some reason in this railway, A120 and railway. And that option suggests that we are in a category C, or whatever you want to call it. In category C, is a large housing development between 1 and 300.
Can I ask exactly what you're asking? What they're asking us to do? They've produced this, and we've got it there. But what actually are we
We've got 76 questions in here. And
for
they're
the
giving us
council to answer, or
for anybody who it's for anybody who wants to go and answer it.
It's a public consultation next week here.
oh yes, they've got a meeting next week.
Yeah.
Which is public.
And-
And I can tell you there is already updates on this.
Of course
So
there is.
as quick as we print them, the government are coming through, and as Jean said earlier, they've already announced that they're going to land snatch if people do not come forward. They've just put out the call again for land, so the builders and developers who own land all over tendering, don't just think it's just Brightsea, can then submit and say, yes, we've got some land that's suitable for building and we're prepared to build on here.
Yeah.
That's probably just about coming to an end, I think, on halfway through. So that's gone out. You may find there's enough builders coming forward with pieces of land in other areas, and none of this will take place.
Yeah,
But they had to produce something.
yeah.
If not, they were told the government would step in and do it for
I'll
us.
just ask a very simple question on top of that. So, is the council being asked to do anything? This council?
No, we're just being asked to host.
There is an element of consultation with
Yeah.
parish and town councils,
Councils.
goes into the back of it, and it says, parish and town councils should be consulted, so I presume that's part of this. We're part of the consultation.
But again, it is highlighted in there also that those with neighbourhood plans will be taken into consideration.
Can I make one point as well about the government changing things and powers and all that kind of stuff? This is really quite important now because there is a proposal out there that any applications don't go to a planning committee at the local authority.
Yeah,
If they match the local plan,
Yeah.
you don't get any representation. It will just be, this field is going to be houses, that's fine because it's not more than 300, Bob's your uncle. We won't be able to challenge it, you won't even be able to
there
mention
won't be a
it.
planning
Well,
committee.
there won't be a planning committee because there won't be no district council. And we'll have one councillor representing this town who, in all likelihood, probably isn't going to be a local, it's going to be a professional politician. So this is one of our only last chances to really affect the next 25 years, 50 years of Brightlingsea. So it is really, really important. I think A, that the town council responds, and then B, that we encourage as many residents as possible to respond as well, because it's that important, I think.
Don't get me wrong, the planning officers, and all credit to them, because our obvious place for development is the field by the old church,
Yeah.
which Trinity, I'm almost certain, will submit. I haven't heard it's been submitted yet.
Yeah.
Again.
But our planning officers are so against that being developed that they would rather we do little bits
Yeah.
to stop that being developed, so we
Yeah.
can say, actually, yeah, no, we don't need it.
Yeah.
That's their biggest thing.
So just going back, so the 4 plans are the one we've spoken about. There's a central triangle of garden villages, which basically circles around the A120 and up to the A131, is it, going out to Harwich? Can't remember the number of the road. Then there's that's B. C is a 133/B1033, which is the ones going out towards Frinton and Dovercourt, so a garden city at the junction of the A120, A133, and then 2 more. And then option D is 4 gardens, so it's just adding more garden villages. One again, it's difficult to see them, but they again are similar to the third one, except that there's one more, and they are larger. All of them, except for B, and B recommends that Brightlingsea is in the medium housing, which is 30 to 300. I must just remind everybody that is over the planning period, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's 5 years, so 30 to 300.
30 to 100,
30 to 100, yeah.
Yeah.
Is all of these numbers are over a 3-year period, 5-year period. 5 year?
5.
5-year
And
period.
I think at the moment, I'm just trying to think, if favourite options were C and D, if I remember rightly.
What, tendering?
Yeah.
Yeah, C and D. So C is where we're still in C, option C, we're still a large 100 to 300. In D, we are 30 to 100. I've written a couple of notes on here. My basic objection is the logistics of the whole thing. The infrastructure in the town isn't big enough to take another 100 houses, let alone 300 houses. I think from my little bit of research, there is already a paper floating around somewhere about the water coming into Brighton. I think the other major issue is actually the traffic and the road logistics is another thing that we could possibly take. And the only place I've found any of this is in one of the documents, I can't remember which one, but it's here, and it's infrastructure provision, and I think that's our major argument. Infrastructure provision is just not good enough. And I based that on...
That's not the one that's based on the railway bit here as well, is it?
No, this is an objection.
Oh.
This is just why should it be in your town?
Okay.
And that one is... they've got us marked, by the way, they categorise us as rural heartland. Yeah, that's we're the category we're in. In the district's substantial rural heartland, smaller towns of Manningtree, Lawford, Mistley and Brighton.
So what is the definition of a garden village?
It's you've heard about the huge big one that's going to be built tendering Colchester
That's like
borders.
Garden City, wouldn't it?
That's it's nothing like that. It is a small development, possibly even small enough not to take extra schools and things. But I just find it so sad. You know, we've got such experienced planning officers. Gary Guyver, who's led, you know, huge appeals. You know, he did a Colchester football ground, didn't he, for the huge appeals. He's got so much knowledge. And I sit there and watch him, and he's banging his head against a brick wall. And he just said, "If I don't produce this, they will produce it for us, and we don't want that. We need to have a say."
Also, we're going to lose people like you that sit on the planning committee, that are our local councillor, who's got so much knowledge, and we're going to lose you, which is to us.
We have been told we've gained a year. We won't come out now till May 28th, or end of April 28th. But we'll be shadowed for a year with limited. We won't be able to do anything.
Can I just very quickly, because you'll probably fill in these things, and can I just guide you to these following questions, because I think these are the ones it would be good if we get. So number one question is do you have any comments on the guiding principles? And I think one of the guiding principles in here, there has not been enough weight placed on the infrastructure of the areas they're looking at. And to assume that both water, sewage, electric, gas, internet, the roads, the school and the health are suddenly going to appear because you've decided to put Garden City in there is ridiculous. So I think, so number one. The other one is that I specifically looked at was number 8. Do you agree that Frinton, Walton, Kirby Cross, Manningtree, Lawford, Mistley and Brightlingsea should be continued to be listed as locations for the second biggest proportion of the district's future housing growth? So I think we should. I think the answer to that one's obvious. And do you agree that these locations might be able to accommodate further additional housing in the period 23 to 41? So again, I think that's a big no. Because I'm assuming that if they started, they'd want to continue in the same place. So, there was another question. Do you agree the village... question 14. Do you agree that the villages with railway stations offer a better location for further development? I've just put yes.
Yes.
So what number question was that?
14.
Just
Sorry,
make sure they got all the names of the local railway stations.
Make sure they know we haven't got
I
one.
suggest we
we
send
haven't
this
got
out.
Well, okay, yes.
We list of what the comments are we're discussing.
This is really
Because
good
we'll
way of
never
doing it.
remember it.
This is a really good way of doing it because, so I've been talking to quite a lot of people about this, and the feedback I'm getting is, oh, it's a lot to go through.
It is.
But actually summarising it in those individual questions,
helps.
focusing people is a really good
Well,
way
if
of doing
you've
it.
got 100 people coming in answering those
Yeah.
same questions,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they've got to take
I think-
notice, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. And just to give a few stats, you've got to just give a few stats on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because sometimes people say, oh, 300 houses. You know, if you don't know how many houses there are in Brighton, you see, you might not think that's a lot. You might think, oh, there must be 20,000 houses in Brighton.
Yeah.
It's only it's only 3,500, something like that. So an extra 300 homes is an extra 8.5%, near enough 10% growth of Brighton. Not overnight, over a period of 5 years, but you know, these things will get built quickly. In terms of dentists and doctors, that's an extra 24,000 teeth
Yeah.
that are going to have to be looked after in Brighton.
And we've only
You can't get an appointment as it is.
No.
And you're not going to get more GPs. 600 more cars. Where are they going to get parked? Because at the moment,
Which
if
is a
you,
big problem, isn't it?
because there will not be public transport infrastructure off the back of this. So people, let's say they build it up by the old church or anywhere, people are going to be relying on getting into the town centre in their cars. You can't park in the high street at the
And
moment.
you going on with facts like that, the fact, if they come in and said, right, this has got to take 300, and we can't, and we can only build 150, Thorrington have got to build the other 150.
Right.
So that is going to hit us.
And
Our
it's-
neighbours have to take
yeah.
the numbers up
Yeah.
that we
It's
can't.
also kids as well. So 150 more kids
Yeah.
on average, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I know the schools are pretty busy because my child goes there. I don't know the exact stats, but I don't think we can cope with 150 extra children. So I think basically there's just nothing in it for Brighton at the moment. And I'm not like anti-growth on this. I'm just anti-growth without a plan. And there is absolutely no plan in there whatsoever in terms of making our roads better, making our pavements better, giving us a bus service that actually works, getting us some parking, getting us a dentist, getting us doctor surgeries, doctor appointments, and a pharmacy, you know.
Yeah. I think you're dead right. And one of the things that I was quite keen that we get across is this infrastructure thing. And I think one of the, having dealt with development corporations before and their attitude, was that a sustainable and long-term development has to have these things. You can't put 300 houses into a new field and just sling in a drain and some water and electric. So you expect that to turn into a community. And I think there's actual sustainable communities policy. And I think we should throw that back at them and say, if you want these things to be sustainable, you've got to, the places you do this have got to have easy access to these parts of the infrastructure. I think schools and things like that are really important. I'm not sure how much of an argument there is about our school, senior school, because they are losing pupils, aren't they?
Yeah,
I get the impression their pupil
But
numbers
that's
are
going
coming
to
down.
change every year, though, isn't it?
But at the moment, all the schools are down.
Yeah.
I think the infant and junior school have got
And
a
then suddenly
classroom
you get
that's
a
going to be
flux.
empty next year.
But I was going to say that the junior school,
Yeah.
or whatever they call them now, the
Yeah.
infant school's packed, isn't it?
Yeah,
So I mean,
Yeah, but next year's intake, they're going to have an empty classroom.
yeah,
Right.
it depends on year on year,
yeah.
obviously.
But
So
the headmaster there told me, this is last year when we had this discussion about closing the sixth form, he said his numbers are in general decline. But other than that, I mean, I think all the other infrastructure is true. And I mean, where are these people going to work? Because they aren't going to work in Brighton, you see. So the roads and traffic infrastructure.
And that is a big argument as well, that you take in all these extra people. We don't have the job base there.
I
to
think we
keep
should
them.
discourage people from keep going on about second grade as much as
But
possible anyway.
I've just thought of another one from
they just
infrastructure.
drive out and don't do anything in the town.
Could you not, Chris, do a synopsis of the key points?
I would, yeah, that's,
So that you can send that round to all our councillors and maybe have a meeting so we can all agree it and get on the back of it and put a compliance statement
Well, I
out.
wonder if you ask John that we do the next council meeting, now it's full council meeting, we
It's too
can
late.
make the planning bit a bit longer and take this on.
Is that too late for them?
So it'd be very handy to have your key points, because
Oh, next.
Yeah, I've done the agenda yet for next week's meeting.
And we can all go through this if you want to, and help me pick out. I'm sure I've missed some because I'm trying to read.
I think there's a
Yeah.
secondary thing, which is
Yeah.
what they said about it. I don't see the appetite of builders to want to invest in building houses. There's not many people buying. The housing market's really dead.
But that's the actual
I know.
fallacy with all of this.
Yeah.
As Tendring District Council rightly say, the issue with house building in this country is not a planning issue, it's a building issue.
Yeah.
There are more than enough developments agreed with planning permission already.
Already.
The builders don't want to build because what happens when you flood a market?
Completely agree with you on that one, but I would warn you that that doesn't work out quite in the same way you think it does, because builders land bank.
Yeah.
Because their balance sheet, if they get a big field and convert it into a building field, their balance sheet increases,
Yeah.
and that's what will happen. So don't think that because they aren't wanted, they won't grab the land. They will grab
Oh,
the
yeah.
land. They'll get
Yeah.
planning permission.
That's a
for
good
it.
point.
It's
That is a good
it,
point.
yeah.
And they'll load their balance sheets up, and
Yeah.
they can go to the markets and borrow even more money.
Yeah, no,
But
that's-
also, I think it's 9,000 houses already passed in planning
Yeah.
application. Sure, it's 9,000.
What, here in Brighton Centre?
That's Tower Street.
You know, so there's a huge amount of plans already gone through, and they're just starting them.
But and
Now they want this on top.
Just to follow that up, I was on a board with Barratt Homes chairman, and the Barratt Homes chairman had got acres, hundreds, thousands of acres already land banked with thousands of houses on it, and they're just waiting for the market because they say we'll suddenly open it up because Newbury in Berkshire has got a new factory, and so they'll build there,
Yeah.
and they're just maximising their profits. So they just saying that nobody's going to buy them, you've got to be a bit careful because they'll land bank the land and then it'll sit there with a threat over the town for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
They control the market in exactly the same way as an oil cartel. In terms of they will not overdo if it's going to mean that their profit per house come down.
But I still think we need the important questions. We need to know how to answer them,
Definitely, yeah.
because we've got that before full council.
Yeah, I think Chris's way of doing it there is
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what
Key
people
points.
So as Matt says, this is our last,
Yeah.
hurrah really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'll check the ones I've ticked, and if I've got anything different to what you've
No,
written,
right.
I'll come back
Okay,
on.
well, you noted the numbers I gave. If anybody wants to have a quick read and maybe just take a section of it. I mean, there are lots of points where they say, do you object to this, and it's difficult to say, do you object to something happening in Misley? It's got nothing to do with this, is it? So just pick out the ones that are directly affecting us.
What was the date? I know they're coming here next
The
week.
18th.
What's the date of the end of the consultation? Though? When do we have to submit it?
End of March, isn't it?
I think it's quite quick.
Yeah,
I thought it was the
I
end
think
of
it was
March.
six weeks and it opened mid-February. I think.
That's
Yeah.
amazingly quick.
Yeah, without much real fanfare either. But that
And they're
means,
very good, because they don't need to come to Barkington.
But I wonder if.
But I tell them they are.
Well,
I mean, I wonder if we've got a bit of an opportunity here as well, because I don't think most parish and town councils will be across this and realise the importance of it as what we're recognising now. So I think that does give us a chance to be disproportionately loud a
I
voice in this
think-
consultation.
Yeah, Gary Scott wants to come because he's got huge developments in Alresford.
Yeah.
And he's just called in another one, but and he does Alresford, Bromley, Thorrington, all the ones that are going to back onto us. So if we say no, we're going to not take it, he's going to end up having
Yes.
to argue it.
But the thing is,
Gary
I
Scott.
was at another parish council.
Andrew's the one who's coming to see us, isn't he? Is it, which one? Who's
Gary Scott's the councillor for Alresford.
Oh, sorry, I'm
No,
getting mixed
no,
up with
he's-
the developer,
No.
Andrew Scott.
No, that's totally different.
That's a totally different.
But I
Well, I
was
think
at
they
a
have-
parish council meeting the other day, different parish, and I don't even think this was on their agenda.
I think the other thing
So
is that
the fact we're talking about, I think, is really, really good.
Yeah.
to put us in, I mean, the fact they're coming here, I would be bloody annoyed if they hadn't, because, excuse me, they've marked us in 3 of the programmes as large housing developments, so surely they must come here. But they are, aren't they? They are.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah,
need
they're
that, we
good.
need those questions, we need to know which way to answer it, and we need to come in. And as I said, if they get 100 people all saying yes or no to the same questions, they're going to have to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deadline for response is 5 p.m. Monday the 14th of April.
Oh, that's a bit further.
Bit longer.
Okay.
What's the time of that?
10 o'clock it is now, isn't it? So there we go.
I can't see
Yeah.
it.
What's what?
What's the time on our one?
3 till 7.
3 till 7. They're all 3 till 7.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there's no other points on that, and I think we'll ask John to put a section in for this.
Yeah.
We'll have to make it slightly snappy, because you can go on for hours.
Yeah, but your key points.
Yeah, I think
the focus.
you could-
So
you
I'll
should
want
spend
me
some time.
to get the questions out,
Yeah.
list of questions, and then we'll go from
I
there.
think, yeah, if you could print me out, if we send you a list of questions, plus anybody got some more ones that we should answer, and list them out, then I think it'd be good if we gave out a paper, and then said, this is what we think you should reply, and then, if you know, the public gets hold of it, damn.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll have more clout, we'll be more focused if it comes from the council rather than going through the neighbourhood plan, because it'll be forever.
No,
And,
I agree with you, but I think we need the neighbourhood
Well, we
plan
do.
to support that.
but they may just follow what we've.
Yeah.
If we start off and get a focused point of view and we agree it, maybe they'll just adopt it
Yeah.
and use it. So I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, exactly. If I could have the first copy of that by Thursday, I'll take it to the neighbourhood plan. Okay, any other?
Was that on live?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, including my swearing, I do apologise. Thank you very much. Claire's meeting closed?
That was, is that 6?
Yeah,
Have I got 2 more on here?
sorry? Oh,
I've got
look,
2 more.
there was no other information, none, and no notes on the following appeals, so. Have you got, did you have some information about either of those?
No, I just thought what we just discussed was item 6.
Six.
Yeah,
And we've got a 7 and 8 on here.
yeah, which is notice
Yeah.
to the
Just-
following
Yeah.
application.
Sorry, you usually say it, that's all.
Do beg your pardon,
That's
sorry, I thought I did, but
Picking
anyway.
up the chair.
I'm under pressure from the FCA chair because he wants to start his meeting.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, he can be very hard.
I'm going to crack all it.
Should you go through that and look at some other